into the game. Here we go. Dragoon on the blue side, Nirvana Gaming on the red side.
Now, they're just, I think they attempted an invade there, but was spotted out by JLKC. So he's just going to be scouting out there, making sure that his red buff is safe for his jungler. Top lane would be interesting to see. How do you think top lane is going to play out? Kled versus Shen.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of poking and punching amongst these two. Very interesting gang interactions for the side of Zair and Neko. Arashi will have a bit of a harder time though. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think for Arashi, he's going to try and gank towards maybe the bot lane or the mid lane. Whereas for the side of Zair, his avenue towards approaching all lanes will be very interesting to see.
I agree, but it might be a bit difficult for Arashi to gank bot because of the Thresh, because of the Xayah. Xayah can root him. Of course, Thresh does have the hook, does have the play to push Arashi out of her bounds. So that would be an interesting reaction to see if Arashi can work around it and apply pressure on that bot lane. But other than that, actually, standard starts here for both teams. Zari just picking up his red buff. Arashi there rotating to Wolves. And not much to see actually in the top lane. So how do you feel that the mid lane is going to play out? We have the Azir, of course, as well as the Ahri. As you mentioned, Ahri is still strong in this patch, 7.10. But Azir, of course, has more control in terms of being a more control mage, can zone out the Ahri. And of course, Azir doesn't quite, can't quite outscale Ahri's damage, but is so mobile, is so... can just blend into team fights, can just do so much for his team, especially as you mentioned, Kled's charge, so that insane movement speed buff does help the Azir, allows him to slide and get those angles.
Oh, here comes the dash by Shine. Neko exchanging a few blows, but Neko walks away slightly hurt from Shine's attempt. That was a nice attempt from Shine. Neko's got to be careful though over in the top lane. This matchup between Neko and Shine will be a rather interesting one. I mean, it's fairly even. Oh, that was a nice recall back of the feathers by Vita.
Right, so as I mentioned, Kled's ultimate charge, it sort of complements his entire team in terms of Thresh getting the speed, move speeds, as well as Xayah, Azir, of course, as mentioned, and the Zac. But what's interesting here to see is that Kled may have to build damage because Zac would have to be the main engager. So it should Kled. Okay, a little scuffle going on in the mid lane, but Q is going to miss there. JLKC is going to be saved. So how do you feel that the team comes and play out here up until the mid game? Because early game they are pretty standard picks. They're just going to farm it out. They're just going to probably try to avoid some gangs. Just play it out into the mid game. But the mid game is actually where most of the action is going to happen. Kled's going to start getting some damage in there. Zac, of course, going to get some entire map pressure actually because of that Alexa extinction shot being ranked 4 or 5. It would get that max ranged out, as you mentioned, from the Grump. Would be able to gank bot lane, but beyond that, not much.
Here comes Big Jazz and JLKC taking a little bit of... JLKC gets hit with the jump. It could be first blood for Arashi, but JLKC had to flash for that. Nice stuff coming in from Arashi. I take my words back again. It seems that Nidalee will come back as a jungler for me then in solo queue. Who knows?
I agree. Actually, that gank did happen because there was no wards on the upper red quadrant side for Team FDG, so they did not spot Arashi roaming in. Arashi was able to get the scuttle and then roam mid. JLKC was smart. He saved up his barrier, only burning the flash, knowing that Arashi didn't have the potential to kill him, as he could just Shurima shuffle out of the way. So he does have his barrier, but flash being down, that does invite jungle pressure. Arashi just might rotate back.
Well, there are a lot of things coming in here over in the bot side. As you can see over in the bot side, for the side of Mallow, he'll be able to put down all those traps. But before I talk too much on the bot side, it's going to be a gank for the side of Arashi. Neko is going to go down. The first blood will go over to Shine. And I kind of disagree with the fact that Shine had to take the first blood. I would have thought that Arashi should have taken that. Could have gotten a little bit more damage over in the jungle and could have actually helped be more impactful.
I agree, but Shen picking up the kill does mean that he gets that extra gold, would allow him to build into his tankier items much faster than Neko would, so that would give him more global pressure in terms of when he dings level 6, he would be able to ultimate down to the bot lane and make some plays there. So that might, yeah.
Well, Big Jazz getting taking a hit a bit, but there are a bit of problems here for the side of Nirvana Gaming. They do get that first blood, and they have to actually get that snowball running for the side of Nirvana Gaming. Big Jazz over in the mid lane, what he needs to do is, despite the fact that he doesn't have the same level of team pressure, Shine over in the top lane and Neko having a bit of interaction here. Nothing much too big. Neko will try to go in for it, but the dash for Shine will be like, nope, I don't want any more of that. But going back to my previous points, what's really important for the side of Nirvana Gaming is they need to get Big Jazz, because Big Jazz is a singular target champion, whereas JLKC, he's playing Azir, and the more utility that he can provide for the side of Fire Dragoons is impactful. So coming in for the side of Nirvana Gaming, they need to make sure that Big Jazz gets ahead by a big margin. Make sure that every time JLKC and Big Jazz interact with one another, Big Jazz gets ahead. And here comes Arashi, and there it is.
Arashi coming in there for the ultimate, but does miss the Q. Ignite that gets dropped there. Big Jazz doesn't opt in for the flash. Does land the charm, but of course damage that there. JLKC does still have his barrier. Not quite sure why he wants to hold on to it. But Gank will successfully evade the gank there. Actually decides to stay in lane. Interesting choice there by JLKC. I mean, he does have the barrier. He does have the double Doran's ring, so he's actually fine in terms of sustaining himself. But Ahri, of course, there just might burst JLKC down again right after his spell rotations are back up. But for now, not much going on. Arashi actually, as we mentioned, Nidalee, not quite a pick that we see normally in this sort of comp coming in from NvG.
Oh, here it comes. Zed comes in and Rooted pulled in. Shine gets pulled in, and this is going to be a problem for the side of Shine. Breaking as much of the basic attacks as he can, and you see that Zed doesn't want any more of that. Neko went a little bit too hard. But managed to get the flash worth for Fire Dragoon.
I agree, but that was a questionable ult there from Zari. Does ult backwards instead of flashing in and pulling Shine backward. Okay, but he re-engage.
And the re-engage comes in. They're going to be able to actually take this down. Shine tries his best. Oh, Neko goes down, and that tanky coming in for the side of Zaire. Nice stuff to make sure that Neko will be able to stay in lane, so Zaire goes back. Nice juggling of the turret pressure, but they need to actually pressure this lane up as Nirvana Gaming Shine is going to come back into lane with the teleport. JLKC nicely dodging the Qs, the javelin tosses coming in from Arashi, and that's the thing coming in for the side of Arashi on Nidalee. It's really dependent on whether or not he lands the javelin toss.
Yeah, as we mentioned, JLKC's flash was down all 3 times that Arashi ganked, so burning that flash on Azir is actually really important, especially when you're fighting against the Ahri. Because Ahri can... There's this little scuttle going on in top lane.
Gets his step back, and the Shine looks like he bit off a little bit more than he could chew going up against Neko, who already has... Oh, and it gets a kill! JLKC goes down for the first time in this game, and here comes the Missile Voyage by Zeno, a little bit too late to the game.
Yeah, just a little style points for that Missile Voyage there, just adding a little BM in there. but a mistake taken JLKC, sorry, community. But Azir should not have stayed in lane, because should he have stayed, his flash was actually down when he died, and Arashi was still around in the vicinity. But of course, addressing the line of vision here, coming from FDG, it's not quite that prominent on the blue side of their jungle. So they did not see Arashi that rotate backwards. So they saw Arashi coming in from the bottom side of the river. Gank didn't work out, but JLKC, as we mentioned, stayed in lane, chose not to go back. Arashi then, knowing that JLKC's flash was down, rotated back from the top side of the river to get that kill.
Well, very interesting coming in from the side of Nirvana Gaming. They get the first 3 kills for the side of a hit of Fire Dragoons, and this is already showing... Oh, it seems that revenge is coming in, but it's going to be Shine going on a killing spree, taking down Ribena, and Taunton is going to be the name again. Oh my goodness, Shine gets pushed up by the Shurima shuffle right to the Emperor's Divide. There goes the ace in the hole. Oh, it goes for the Cell Division, but Arashi will be able to get away. That was a nice eats up by Zeno, making sure that he's able to get away.
Yeah, I agree. But that was actually a really slow rotation there from Team FDG. They didn't see it coming. Arashi, of course, set up the line of vision just before, right after JLKC fell. Arashi walked around, set up that line of vision for that play to be made. We saw Xayah taking her time to rotate up to the mid lane. Is because they did not see this coming. They didn't expect that much damage coming in from NvG, and now they pick up the Dragon as well.
Well, that's a nice Ocean Drake for them, and it's going to just add to the sustain of the team. Right now, Nirvana Gaming is playing their team to a very nice pickle, actually. It's nice range coming in with Arashi, nice range coming in with Mallow. And because of the amount of mobility that Big Jazz has, and the range isn't too bad as well on Big Jazz, so it's going to be very interesting to see how Fire Dragoons is going to adjust towards this. A little bit of a problem coming in for the side of Fire Dragoons early to mid-game transition. So I don't know about you, but it's going to be an interesting game. Oh, and there he goes. Mallow goes in right into the Featherstorm. And Ribena not hitting the Thresh hooks like Hoki did.
That was actually well played by Team NvG there. We saw Zeno actually sweeping out the vision from FDG, ensuring that Arashi could come in unspotted and perform the guy, but didn't really work out for them. Well, we see Arashi still sticking around, getting that poke damage down. Will he fall? No, gets interrupted, but Abyssal Void coming in.
Oh, snap, crackle, and pop. Arashi comes on in with the kill, and Vita will be the second to go down. He tries to... Oh, that pounce. He tries to actually kite him down and just do as much damage as he can, but the amount of damage that Arashi is building off is just insane. 8-0 for the side of Fire Dragoon. Nirvana Gaming, formerly known as Mineski X, coming it up.
Now, the Nilipik actually getting huge in this game. We actually doubted Arashi's skill on playing the Nilipik, but with, of course, he proved us wrong here today.
Oh, definitely Arashi, definitely the player of the game for now because of the amount of javelins that he's been hitting and his rotations is just insane. Over in the mid lane, Big Jazz is doing a pretty good job as well, trying to put down JLKC. Oh, and there he goes, Neko. Almost... Oh, that flash right to the auto. Shine on a rampage, but it seems that Zed joins in the fun. But Shine hurts mad damage because of the Tiamat.
Zare just a second too late there to save his teammate. Shen actually flashing in for the kill. Tiamat auto would end him up. Nick, actually, the thing about Kled here is he's sort of like a champion like Jace, where if he's ahead, he'll snowball out of control. But if he's behind, it's very difficult for him to come back into a game, especially when his team comp is not revolved around him. So, of course, everyone, depending on that Kled ultimate, will have to play around the fact that he's not farmed up there. But we'll see how that goes there on the side of FDG. Rift Herald being focused here.
Well, very interesting enough that Nirvana Gaming will be repeating what Fire Dragoon did to them. And they're going to be taking up the Rift Herald, and this is like the one win condition that they had. Charge as Neko comes in. Fire Dragoon tries their best to take down Shine, but Shine's going to be the priority of this. And Arashi comes in with the javelin tosses from far away. Shine gets taken down. The shutdown kill will go over to Neko. Nice little Shurima shuffle into it as Vita gets the kill over onto Big Jazz, and it's going to be a double kill going over for Neko. This is what Fire Dragoon tries to do best. They pull that trigger. Nice Shurima shuffle coming in. Zare goes in, heavier than ever. Comes in and tries to pull on Zeno, but it's going to be... Oh, that nice Featherstorm comes up. And Vita has a flash. He's got to be careful. And oh, he goes down. Arashi goes on a rampage. But JLKC does manage to get a beautiful shutdown onto Arashi. Oh, the fight is still going to go on as they try to get that turret down. The turret will go down. Fire Dragoons fighting to the last man as Nirvana Gaming finally goes down. And they're going to go again. Are they going to go again? Oh my goodness, Shine goes in. This fight lasts forever. This is going to be just a fight and a fight and a fight. Ribena goes dangerously low. Neko as well. And it'd be wise for them to get back because of the Revenant's Hydra.
Now that entire fight actually started off only because Ribena managed to land the hook onto Big Jazz, forcing the engage. Then FDG could collapse right into them. And NvG, of course, were not expecting that sort of damage coming from Team FDG because they were underfarmed, as we just mentioned. They were down on CS, but of course they managed to make it work here for themselves. Zac there being a monumental impact there in that team fight, able to just sustain himself and just CC the whole of NvG there. But props to Ribena there for starting off the fight, being able to sustain his teammates there, and then Neko just going in for the kill. JLKC, of course, with the beautiful Shurima shuffle, just ults the whole of NvG back, 2 members there, so they get the better trade-off in that team fight.
Well, Dragoon set out a beautiful team fight, and Nirvana Gaming paid the price. And it just seemed that Dragoon is trying to slowly catch up against Nirvana Gaming. Some really interesting adjustments that Nirvana Gaming has made in this matchup, and I like how Zeno is just everywhere to make sure that as a Tamkench, you just go for a ride and just be safe, man. Be safe. Oh, and it seems that JLKC will take down Arashi. JLKC now nicely picking up some nice items. Already has that Nash's Tooth. Going to do a lot of AP sustained damage there.
I don't think Arashi was on the same page with the rest of Team NvG. They're not quite sure what he's planning to do with such low HP, roaming on enemy territory. But JLKC does pick up the kill eventually.
Taking up his red buff. Nothing much in terms of action at the moment. All team members looking for opportunities to build up more successful foundations towards a nicer mid-game transition. Dragoons is slowly catching up. They are behind by about 5 kills and about close to 2,000 gold. So, how do you feel that Dragoon will catch up to Nirvana Gaming if they had the opportunity?
Yeah. So Dragoons here would have to actually play really safe and only take fights that they feel that they can take. Like the fight we just saw, they knew that they could take it because there was a 5-man engage, and it was actually only 4 men on the sides of NvG there in the start of the fight. So they knew that they could take it. They knew that they could basically maneuver around the damage coming in from NvG. And Dragon there being picked up by Arashi.
Well, it's going to be the Ocean Drake being picked up for the side of Nirvana Gaming. A lot more sustain coming in for the side of Nirvana Gaming, and Dragoon seems to be having a bit of a trouble showing their same dominance from the previous game.
I agree, but now Baron being spawning there in 1 minute 20. So let the Vision Wars begin here, Hound.
Oh, the Vision Wars will definitely begin as both these members of this team are going to be walking around, getting as much deep wards as they can. Arashi trying to get more vision in the top side jungle, so he'll know where Zare's going to be. And the fact that Zeno's hanging around with Arashi means that Zeno will be able to keep Arashi safe in case a strong CC comes down. Oh, there's going to be an interaction here as Zare comes in.
Zare there going in, just taking a little bit of damage. Actually, no damage, he'll just regen the whole thing back. So now JLKC coming in, joining his teammate. This just might turn into a team fight here.
It's going to not turn that much into a team fight. It's going to be a pressure for the top lane, because they know that 4 members of the team are in the top lane, and they don't know they know for a fact that the charge comes in, and it goes over to Zeno. I think maybe it'd be wise for them to just use that ultimate charge just to get the fight to be a bit more breathing room, but it seems that the action's going to go down. Big Jess will be the first to take down Ribena. That was a nice feather storm, and it's going to be Shine in the middle of them. Nice feather storm coming in from the side of Vita, but Vita will go down before he can actually pull them back. And it seems that Nirvana Gaming is trying to get back into it. Shine doing his best to do as much damage as he can. He gets taunted, but it might be him to go down, but it's not going to go down. The shutdown kill will go over to Mallow, and it's going to be a clean ace for the side of Nirvana Gaming. They're going to be able to take out the Baron, and this could be a bad game coming in from the side of Dragoons.
Now that fight was played beautifully by Shine there. He actually took on the entirety of Team FDG, burned all of their cooldowns, and then the collapse came in. That allowed them to ensure that JLKC could not escape because he was forced to Shurima shuffle inwards into the fight. Did not have that cooldown to pull himself out. Did get dropped, and of course Vita there taking a lot of damage, and then Shine just sticking on that Xayah forcing her out of the fight, forcing the ult as well. So that allowed them to rotate around and take Baron.
Well, definitely coming in from the side of Nirvana Gaming, how they handle that team fights are just really, really good. And what I like to see coming in from the side of Dragoon is a little bit more adaptability and arranging themselves in such a way where they're always close together. So if Nirvana Gaming decides to pull in the trigger, their members of the team are always nearby. But from the side of Dragoon, it seems that a little bit of miscommunication seems to be the problem, because they're not playing the same way that they were like in previous game, and they did change Hoki to Ribena, and I don't know about you, but I think you were a big Hoki fan now, right? After those hooks?
Yeah. I'm actually quite disappointed Hoki doesn't get to play in this game. Ribena's thresh not being as impactful as we saw in the game before. But Ribena is trying his best, did manage to get that first fight going with a beautiful hook being landed onto Big Jazz. So let's see if he can make any more big plays.
Well, definitely coming in for the side of Neko, playing on that Kled, but he's behind by quite a big margin, because Shine is already 5-1 and 5, and Arashi is 6-2 and 7. The goal differential is just amazing, about 6,000 goal advantage for the side of Nirvana Gaming. And here comes the boom. The Javelin Toss is good, but Neko will be able to just shield over that, as other members of Fire Dragoons come in to join the party over the bot lane.
Now, even though there's such a huge discrepancy in terms of kills, the only reason FDG is still in this game is because they, as I mentioned, were trying to play safe. They were farming up minions, so that has actually kept them in the game. They still have a chance to come back, but they should only take plays, as I mentioned, that they know that they can win. So they need to depend on Ribena, they need to depend on Zari to get those good engages in and get that beautiful team fight going.
Well, the pressure coming in from Nirvana Gaming over in the bot lane is pretty strong. They already are 2 turrets ahead with 2 dragons inside the bank as well, and they're going to set up a death bush here. Fire Dragoons trying their best to at least try to get some kind of positional advantage over the side of Nirvana Gaming, but it seems that adjustments coming in from Nirvana Gaming is just too strong.
I agree, but Big Jess now having to split push there, applying pressure onto FDG, onto all lanes. Arashi, they're just rotating around, trying to get the deep wards in, ensuring that FDG does not roam into their jungle without being punished. Having to take the scuttle there, just getting that bit of vision there for his team. And how do you feel, Nick, how do you feel that Nidalee has impacted this game so far? I mean, we have seen some huge plays coming in from Arashi, but it's not a pick that would be conventional in terms of the comp that NvG here have designed. What are your thoughts on Nidalee?
Well, Nidalee in general, I think, is a very interesting champion. The jungling potential was cut short, was cut in half, basically, in terms of AP junglers, AP carry junglers, because of how they changed the blue buff and the red buff. And because taking the blue buff doesn't give you a percentage increase towards your ability power anymore, like previously. So the fact that Arashi is still able to jungle very effectively and crazy amounts of damage onto the side of FDG, but it seems that the fight's going to go down. Shine will be the single one to be fought against 3 members of FDG, and that's a nice little feather storm, but Ribena almost getting taken down with his life.
Right, you mentioned Nidalee with the damage, but actually Arashi there with a very interesting build. You wouldn't actually see this quite often, especially in solo queue. He did decide to go with the Rod of Ages as well as the Athene's Unholy Grail. So he's actually playing as a huge team player in terms of just being a support, just being basically an Ivern with just better damage and more mobility. And he does seem to be building towards perhaps a Lich Bane. We do see a Sheen in Arashi's inventory.
Yeah, definitely see a Sheen there. And what's really interesting to note is the fact that for the side of Fire Dragoons, it seems that they're getting a taste of their own medicine. The counter rotations coming in from the side of Nirvana Gaming is pretty tight in terms of how they're rotating together. It seems that in the first game they were just trying to get a feel for the enemy team, and it was a nice javelin toss by Arashi.
Just getting a bit of damage onto Vita there, ensuring that Vita doesn't go too ham in the coming team fight. Second tier turret being pressured here by Team NvG, but FDG resilient in defending it. Neko on the sides there, as well as Ribena prepared to engage should a fight break out. Arashi just being a huge nuisance, of course. That's how you play in Italy.
Ribena gets the hook.
Zeno there in a little bit of trouble, but let's get engaged there. Zari there trying to back it off, but being fight. Big Jazz actually kiting around. The charm does miss. Shiny's taunt does miss. Ribena there in a huge bit of trouble. Has to flash. Does land the hook onto Zeno. Jumps in. Zeno falling down by the hands of JLKC, but Neko as well as Zari having to back out from that fight.
Oh, and that was a nice follow-up hook by Ribena, but it's going to be too little too late as Milo will take it down. And that was beautifully set up by members of FDG. Ribena starting with that hook and the follow-up, but it seems that the damage coming in from the side of Nirvana Gaming is a little bit too much onto Fire Dragoons. It seems the Fire Dragoons tasting their own medicine in game number 2.
I agree. Nirvana Gaming just applying a huge amount of pressure, just actually forcing. We saw that fight actually broke up because Vita took a huge chunk of damage from Big Jazz, from Arashi. So Vita was not actually able to make much of a play in that fight, being forced to just kite from the outlines, just having to add just some bit of damage. Does miss the root as well, so not much of an impact coming in from Vita there in that fight.
Well, definitely, and Vita as well had a little bit of problems trying to position the Feather Storm and trying to recall back those feathers. And there were some really interesting stuns that he made as well. They set up some very beautiful kills for their team. However, is it a little bit too little too late, Mr. Fire?
I feel that it just might be, but of course we can't undermine the skills of these players. There are some windows that FDG can abuse, can take in order to come back into this game, but they're going to have to play it very, very meticulously and calculated.
And it's going to be the what was coming in from the side of Fire Dragoons and Nirvana Gaming.
Just a little bit of a solo queue moment there. Actually, we see 3 sweepers on the side of FDG, so that's how concerned they are with how many wards that NvG have placed in their jungle. So they don't even feel safe. They don't even feel safe entering their own jungle because of the ward, because of the vision line being extended out by Team NvG.
Another 50 caliber bullet. And oh, it seems that Ribena goes in for the taste. And it's going to be Zeno most likely. And here comes Arashi on the side. He's got to be careful. Oh, Zeno will be first go down to get Vita. And Arnold getting taken a hit with a nice Feather Storm. Oh, Shine gets a kill on to Ribena. And that's going to be another kill for the side of Ari. And as the fight progresses over, and oh my goodness.
Will we see a pentakill coming in from Vita? Will he do it? No, he will not.
Not to be a penta because it's going to be denied, and it's going to be an ace coming in from the side of Fire Dragoons.
Now, Hound, as you mentioned, is there anything that Team FDG can do? And that is exactly it. Taking the fight, playing it beautifully, doing everything that they can, throwing everything that they have onto the side of Team NvG and getting those kills. Vita there picking up a Quadra, but does unfortunately fall, not being able to pick up that Penta. Now that fight is exactly what I meant when I said that FDG do have their windows, but they just need to see them and take them as they see fit. They need to make sure that they can fight when they can fight. They don't need to take unnecessary skirmishes. They don't need to take any damage that won't prove any like they won't be able to take anything off it. So basically, they can't afford to take trades that they're going to lose. So that was actually a beautiful trade because they knew that they could take it because of Vita, and it was a choke point. So Vita's feathers were just everywhere and literally obliterated Team NvG.
Well, those stuns coming in from the Zaya was definitely a very, very strong mechanic because of how it works. It just brings you back. Three enemies can get stunned. I mean, three feathers will stun any enemy, and it's just insane. You know, like with a Zaya, you just throw it out, and then GG boys, you get wrecked. And coming in from the side of NvG though, some good rotation, something they should have done in the earlier game to stay relevant towards the later part of the tournament.
Now, not to undermine Team NvG, especially Arashi. Arashi was able to survive against Vita, but did not manage that bit of hop right over the wall. Of course, it happens to everyone. We've seen Faker flash into walls, so Nidalee pouncing into a wall isn't something new. So can't really blame Arashi for that one. Just a bit of nerves. No, didn't actually expect that kind of damage coming in from Team FDG, and especially from Vita, someone who wasn't exactly playing to the full potential of Zaya.
Here comes the charge, and here comes Zare. He's going to be closing it down. Zare, JLKC gets the kill onto Milo, and it's going to be a problem for the side of NvG, as it's going to be 2-0 exchange in favor of FDG.
Now again, this is exactly what we're talking about. FDG just taking the fights that they know that they can basically just obliterate someone off the team of NvG, forcing it now to be a 5v3 and allowing them to get Baron off it.
Oh, he better be careful. Shine better be careful. He's going to time it right, and no, it's not going to be a steal, but it's going to be a nice secure for Vita, as 5 members of 5 Dragoons will be able to back away and reap the beautiful seeds that they sow for that Baron pickup.
That was a brave attempt by Arashi there to steal Baron and actually secure the game. Should Arashi have stolen Baron, it might have been GG for Team FDG because of how far ahead NvG are, and that Baron, the extra AD and AP, would actually really help with sieging out the base of FDG. But of course, FDG, they're steadfast in their approach. They did manage to take the Baron, secured there by Vita. And they did, as we mentioned, only reason they were able to take Baron is because they took fights that they knew they would win. So of course, as you mentioned, Xeno being dropped there, as well as Milo. So that is both the AD carry as well as the support falling for NvG. Getting the Baron off that now, rotating down to get Dragon.
Getting the Dragon should be on the priority of NvG, but also also Baron as well, as we head into the 30-minute mark of this game. They're going to be contesting the Cloud Drake, which I don't think is a fantastic idea for each team.
I agree, but Team FDG here trying to take everything that they can. They do manage to secure it again, Vita securing that objective. At this point, FDG can't be picky in terms of what objectives that they can take. They'll just take whatever they can because that is their win condition. Try to get back into this game. Try to basically, if not outscale, then get on the level of NvG. And of course, their team comp is designed in such a way that team fights are absolutely obliterating NvG, especially in choke points, with that Azir, with that Zaya, and of course that Zac. Just should anyone escape, he'll just drag them back in.
Well, it seems that 5 Dragoons is slowly coming back into this game in terms of turrets. They're pushing it out really hard as members of FDG are trying to come in, and here it comes. That it is a nice little hook coming in, and Neko taking a little bit too much damage. Both members of FDG go golden. They're trying to take down that turret. Will they be able to do so? And that was another beautiful death sentence right in. And it's going to be another golden moment as Shine in the middle of it. 5 Dragoons trying to get back. That's going to be 1 kill for Vita. That's going to be a 2nd kill coming in for Arashi. It's a double kill for Vita and a single kill for the side of Arashi.
Now, again, that entire fight broke out only because Ribena managed to get a priority pick. He managed to land the death sentence onto Arashi, forcing Tahm Kench to swallow Arashi. Now, when Tahm Kench's swallow is down, that basically means that everyone else on the side of NvG is vulnerable because Tahm Kench can't save them. So that prompted the engage from FDG, and they managed to take the fight. They burned the cooldown that they needed to burn. They managed to get Arashi out of that fight long enough for Ribena to engage and for JLKC to get right in there, apply some damage onto Milo, forcing Milo to push out and forced to kite from the outlines of that fight. And of course, Xeno being forced to be the front line as well as holding Arashi was the primary point of target damage for FDG.
Well, coming in for the side of FDG, they're slowly picking it up as they try to get as much advantage as they can, whether it's by situations like going out for wards or running into somebody, because wasting time is going to be a big thing that JLKC wants to do in favor of winning this fight. For the side of NvG, however, the lead is getting higher by close too soon, as members of NvG are trying to close down the FDG as quickly as possible.
I agree. Now, actually, I believe Ribena might be a little nervous at the start of this game, coming in, having to fill in the shoes of Hoki26 that we saw was a beautiful Thresh player, but now Ribena fitting into those shoes, able to land those hooks, and is able to get those priority picks. Does land the hook onto Arashi, but decides not to engage. As we mentioned, should Ribena have engaged, that would not have been a fight that FDG could take, because it was a whole five-man NvG lineup on the other side of the wall, and only Ribena and Zari could have flipped over, while as the other three would have taken some time, because Azir would not have wanted to burn his Shurima Shuffle cooldown engaging a fight.
Well, coming in from the side of Nirvana Gaming, some really good rotations coming in, but it seems that Fire Dragoon sees poised to actually split push with whatever resources that they can, and that's just going to help them open up opportunities for them. And Ribena and Logic over in the mid lane, making it work.
Neko just trying to apply some pressure on the side lanes here, split pushing while his team secures some vision there in the mid lane. Doesn't get caught out. Oh, gets spotted by the ward, but channels his ultimate.
Here comes the charge. Dun, 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 right into the fight. And this could be bad coming in from the side of Nirvana Gaming as FDG tries to swarm in and stay close to the enemy team.
Ultimate burn there by Neko. Didn't get much out of it. But Burst burned the flash from Arashi.
Well, very interesting stuff being shown by Fire Dragoons. They are showing that they are able to come back from a very bad game. But whether or not it's a little too late is a different question to answer on its own.
I feel that it might not be too late because FDG have been playing it really safe. Only taking team fights, as I mentioned, over and over again, like a redundant CD player. But FDG have to only take fights that they know they will win, or at least get the better trade-off of. So they have been doing that for the past 3 or 4 team fights. They have managed to crawl their way back into the game, managed to almost even up the gold lead, which was almost at an 8k gold deficit. So there just might be hope yet again for FDG here.
Definitely there is hope for the side of FDG. Whether or not FDG delivers is an entirely different story. But it seems that Scuttle Crab will be on the menu for the side of Rashi. And it looks like they want to be able to be getting some footage of what is happening around.
Now Vision being set her up around Baron. Shiny just walking around with the Elixir of Iron. Vision Wars do begin. Baron does spawn in 10 seconds, so both teams prioritizing that objective over the Dragon, which will spawn in 20 seconds. This Baron just might be the game changer here for both teams.
Well, definitely it gives Fire Dragoons a little bit of space to breathe, whereas it turns NvG into a snowball wrecking machine.
Now, inhibitor turret being pressured there and falls. Coming in there. Big Jazz actually taking some chunk of damage.
Oh, there goes the ace in the hole.
Both teams just waiting for that opportunity, for that golden moment to just dive in and get like the Shen, maybe a 3-man stun, for a 3-man taunt, I'm sorry. And Ribena, they're just looking for the hooks, but does get blocked by the minions, so Team FDG does have to back off.
What's really interesting to note is the fact that for the side of FDG, they're really going to go for the Baron, which is going to open up a lot of opportunities for them. They do know that members of the enemy team are not around. They're going to go for the Dragon Drink while he is going to go get the drink. The Herald gun.
Now, not quite sure what Team NvG was thinking there, but ultimate being channeled there by Neko.
The charge is down, coming in from Neko, and this could be a bad problem for the side of Fire Dragoons. They need to engage it proper.
That would have been a potential team fight, but Team FDG opting not to go in for it, and Team NvG respecting the damage that's going to come out of Team FDG. Again, so both teams just engage, take a look at each other and say, okay, we're not going to do this now. So they disengage, they fall back, they re-atomize. So Baron buff on the side of FDG there just might plan to shove it in down mid because Inhibitor Turret has fallen, as well as the Inhibitor. Super Minions are going to filter in. Team NvG there with the Elder Drake buff.
What's interesting to note for the side of FDG, like you said, with the fact that they already have the Baron Nash's aura, and the fact that the Super Minions coming in, they need to pick a few lanes and just push it down, get a bit of breathing space.
But of course, there is some respectable wave clear from NvG coming in from Milo with the Runan's Hurricane, as well as Arashi now building some damage with that Zonius.
But they gotta be careful, they might be spotted out as he's going out. But for the side of Fighter Goods, it's pretty interesting to see that despite the fact that 4 kills behind for the side of Fighter Goods, they are slowly catching up and they're slowly scraping the knees to get where they are.
I agree, the gold lead being just over 2k. FDG actually having to crawl their way, as you mentioned, back into this game, and now they do have a winning chance at winning here for game 2. But now, one misstep in a team fight and just might cost them the game, because we are 40 minutes in. Lots of these champions have been almost fully itemized, so it's going to be one huge brawl. Just waiting for one engage coming from either FDG's Ribena, Zera, or from Zeno there on the side of NvG.
Now, ooh, that was a nice javelin toss being thrown by NvG.
At this point, I believe Arashi has built 45% CDR, so we'll be able to just spam those javelin tosses. He does get the passive proc, so that's just a little bit of vision that Team NvG can get from this siege being applied from FDG. Neko there on the sidelines with the ultimate ready.
Oh, and that was a nice one. Shine getting into an exchange with Neko, but Neko will be able to get away with it without much punishment. And he sees that Fighter Goods playing it safe, pushing it up over in the top side, trying their best to get as much defensive objective as possible.
Now, bot inhibitor turret falling. Inhibitor will now be the focus for Team FDG. Burn buff there, almost running out.
As we're moving into the very late game, early. As we're moving into the late game, what are your thoughts on all these champions itemizations?
I feel that especially we're going to have to address the Nidalee here, of course, because it's not a pick that we'd see normally in this sort of comp. We've got the Shen for the tankiness and the global pressure in terms of his ultimate. We've got the Ahui, which is a standard mid lane pick, can safely engage in this engage. We've got the Caitlyn, again, a safe AD carry, and the Tahm Kench to just sort of summarize the whole comp, make everyone safe, and is a tanky deep-line frontliner as well. But Nidalee doesn't quite fit into any sort of category in terms of NvG, and yet has done proficiently on this champion. So props there to Arashi for bringing in an off-meta pick into the jungle, able to pull it off, able to get a tremendous lead actually.
Oh, Killing right into the play, and that was a beautiful one. Arashi will go into Zeno's mouth as they get away. The Firestorm has been popped up right into the trash wall, and it's going to be a fight for the ages as Inferno takes in a little bit too much damage, and wow, look at that, right into it. And it's gonna be a hard for the side of Fighter Goods to actually come inside here and do what they want, because Nirvana Gaming is no slouch. Their open world franchises are huge, and it's gonna be game coming in for this lovely person at the restaurant. It's gonna go down. JLKC on a rampage, and it's gonna be walking up right into the Emperor's Divide, pushing members of NvG away, and nice ace in the hole towards Melko, and oh, JLKC had some flash for that.
JLKC really have the moves like Jagger, dodging both the ace in the hole.
And Arashi goes in on the killing spree. The moves are exactly like how you say, bro. Jagger and Lit. And it seems that the overstay is real for the side of Fighter Goods, as members of NvG are going to be pushing it out hard.
However, even though that was a beautiful play there, cosmetically of course, but Neko did have to sacrifice his life for that. So Neko actually falling means that Team NvG is confident in terms of just sieging this tower all day long, because there isn't that sort of engage that's going to come in from FDG. Ribena there was actually the first to fall in that team fight we saw earlier. But Neko there, countdown, 20 seconds left, so this mid turret just might fall from FDG.
And they're going to be taking it down, and this could be the end of the game for the side of Fighter Goods. Oh, nice shuffle, but will it be enough? And Milo, a little bit of bugginess there, getting pushed and pushed on towards the Emperor's Divide, right into...
Now NvG not having all their members in the base there, so Arashi not feeling safe to stay in poke. Does just clear out some wards, walks around. Now, vision being set up around Baron. This time, NvG hoping to get it. As we mentioned, NvG is still in the lead against Team FDG, so getting this Baron will be monumental for them, and they just might be able to close out this game.
Well, definitely coming in for the side NvG, they do need some of these stats. However, for the side of FDG, they need to try to at least make sure that their enemies don't get sight of it first, or at least dispose of it. So it won't be easy to pick up. But for the side of FDG, it seems that they are 2 steps ahead, 2 steps behind from IVG.
Ace in the hole there, just popping some shield off Ribena. We saw a death cap picked up by JLKC, so he would be able to do more damage in these team fights, or team fight rather, because one decent team fight from NvG or Team FDG just might end the game. So both these teams here sitting on a knife's edge, just waiting for that click, waiting to pull the trigger.
And what's interesting to note is that for the side of NvG and Fire Dragoons, there's a lot of breathing space that Fire Dragoon is trying to get, but FDG as well, what they're trying to do is they're trying to pressure NvG to a point where they can't leave their base. But they need more inhibitors for that to work, and relentlessness of a stubborn cat, I suppose.
I agree. FDG here showing their competitive spirit, not giving up, even though when they were so far behind up until to the mid game, they did not seize their resistance. They went for it. They said that, hey guys, we do have a decent team comp. We can win this. Let's just take fights again. I keep mentioning this over and over again, but Team FDG's comp is designed in such a way where if they aren't able to take the fight, they shouldn't, because they will fall behind, and that's what FDG have been doing so far. But now they have come around, they are taking the fights that they know they can fight, and are now contesting Baron.
NvG going for Baron. This could be very dangerous for the side of NvG. Oh, here comes Shai. Shai comes in for the first fight. And not far behind from Shine is Zare. As Zare comes in and is going to be all over the place, as the shutdown kill will go over to Vita. Vita doing as much damage as he can. Nice Feather Storm. Will he be able to call it back? And he's going to get another kill. 2 ADCs are left as he tries to take down this semi-tanky Zare. But Zare will be able to just get away. And how do you feel about that? I mean, NvG played that well.
NvG actually played that beautifully. Vita there in the first few seconds of that team fight played beautifully, was able to kite out Team NvG, but does get bursted down there by Big Jazz. And then popping that Guardian Angel, the moment Vita respawned, did not even have time to flash out of the way because he was dropped down so fast. Ahri did time the Q there, so gets the double proc, so the way going as well as the 2 damage back. So Zare surviving only because of his tankiness. Let's see if he's able to defend his base.
Zare goes in for the aggressive fight. I don't know why though, trying to maybe stop them from recalling. I'm not entirely sure what was the name of the game for actually going in and jumping on the enemy, when you know that you could just pay him in crazy, you know? I mean, like, it's just, you can pay him in a different way in terms of that revenge thing, you know? Like, when you want to approach it, you got to make sure that whatever tactic that your enemy team does, there's revenge for it, you know? Like, okay, he steals your raid, you steal his raid, that kind of thing. But it seems that Fire Dragoons is not behind by a large margin, but it seems that NvG has just woken up, I suppose.
I agree. Their Baron actually being completely peeled out on the side of NvG, picking up that Baron buff. Let's see if they are able to close out this game here. Both mid as well as top inhibitors are down, and I believe Nexus turrets are still up. So it'll only take one more push from Team Nirvana Gaming here to end the game. They are not going to contest the Elder Drake here. They do have the Baron buff, so they just might plan to play it safely. Rotate it around, split push the minions into the waves, apply pressure, forcing FDG to split their resources, because as I mentioned, FDG's comp is designed beautifully for a team fight. They aren't able to take fights that are lesser number than that, basically. So NvG forcing Team FDG to split around would mean that they are able to get those picks off. So JLKC as well as Vita. We saw Vita's Guardian pop, so he did sell it out and pick up a Mercurial Scimitar. So that would help with controlling the CC coming in from NvG.
Well, coming in from the side of FDG, they are trying their best to defend, but it seems that the one advantage for the side of FDG is a little bit too strong. Would still like to see a Sejuani though, because of the, you know, like at least pick out a Sejuani at least once in this game, or at least once in this tournament. Anyway, it seems that this is going to be a first and last push coming in from the side of FDG. Ooh, look at the amount of damage that Arashi took though. Very dangerous, very, very squishy, as all the members are wanting to pressure over the bot lane.
Now, emphasizing on your point about Sejuani, that would have actually been a really solid pick here for Team NvG. But I feel that Arashi said that, hey guys, I've been playing a lot of Nidalee, so let's see if we can translate solo queue results into this competition here, game 2. And the whole team just agreed and says, okay, we'll play around you. And we have seen Arashi perform on this Nidalee. We have seen Arashi play beautifully, was able to rotate and apply immense pressure onto JLKC, excuse me, forcing him to basically constantly not have his flash up because he had to use it defensively. So,
and it seems that the Shuriman turret comes out, and here comes the engage, and the fight is breaking up as NvG tries their best to go, but the damage is too real coming in from the side of NvG. Oh, here comes Zed trying to get into it. The Featherstorm has gone down by Vita. Will it be enough? Shine will be able to block the amount of damage. GA has been popped. The shutdown kill will go over to Vita as well. Oh, that was a nice Shuriman shuffle coming in from the side of JLKC. Oh, and here comes the advance. Milo tries his best. JLKC gets hit in the face with the haste in the hole. This is not good coming in from the side of FDG. NvG pushing it up high.
Now that's what I was talking about how confident Arashi is on his Nidalee there. Will he be able to outkite JLKC? Jumps in? No, he does not. Kill picked up by JLKC, but it will not matter because second Nexus turret has fallen. The Nexus being completely exposed, being shot down by Milo as well as his minions. So this is going to conclude game 2, going to the side of NvG.
Yep, it's going to conclude game number 2 at 52 minutes. A lot of back and forth. I like the fact that